Now let's talk about the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, because they've agreed to sell nearly 20% stake. The deal with the New York-based investment fund Manikay Partners is part of a quest to invigorate trading, attract more IPOs, and in addition, 21% is also going to be sold to unspecified international investors. The region's only developed market, the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, is valued at $157 million. Let's speak to the CEO, Ittai Ben-Zeev. Ittai, thank you so much for joining us. Anna Edwards and myself caught up with you just a couple of weeks ago. Here we go, breaking news, 19.9% to Manikay. How or why did they win the attentions of your position? Why did you go for them?
Well, before speaking about Manikay, it's very important to clarify that we thought eventually, after all the process that we went through, that it's crucial to have a deal in which a very substantial amount will go directly to the general public once we are ready to do an IPO. That's why we insisted that at least 30% of the 72 stake that we got as an option from the bank will be reserved in a special structure so we can do an IPO. Now, Manikay is a world leading in the world of exchanges. Shane, Russell, and Salah did an outstanding impression, and we saw that they create a great value for us based on our knowledge and networks, and they have a very extensive experience. We believe that with Manikay as our anchor investment, we can continue our growth plans.
So have you set a date yet in terms of when you might be able to go IPO, let's say a quarter?
Yes. Originally, we planned to do an IPO during 2019, and we have decided to do the IPO in the fourth quarter of 2018, meaning in 6 months' time, 7 months' time, we plan to do the IPO.
So you're going to do the IPO this year, 2018, by the fourth quarter of 2018?
Yes, and actually we decided... Yep. Go ahead.
Okay, you decided. We need to know a little bit about valuation. And who are these other unspecified investors? Where are they? Valuation, first of all.
Okay, about valuation, we actually got, during this process, higher bids. But given that we are not the owners, we want to make the deal that would be the best deal for the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, for the Israeli economy. We looked about the strategic fit that our investors can bring to the table, and that was a key reason for choosing Manikay. Our base valuation, in which we had the option with the banks, was $143 million, and the enterprise value, the deal that we closed, was with $157 million enterprise value, which is obviously higher. And I believe that when we launch our IPO by the end of the year, our valuation within the IPO will be even higher. Now, what
is that 200 million? Is that 250 million?
I believe it will be close to $200 million market cap IPO.
Okay, and what about strategic partnerships with other bourses? I mean, this is really the first step in what you are trying to do to get more capital into the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange. What else is on your radar? What's going to come up next that's going to help reinvigorate activity on that exchange, which really has been mediocre since it went developed markets back in 2010?
Yes, well, we don't need a capital into the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange. The investors that will come in will actually bring the money, because we need the money to transfer the money to the banks in order to get the shares to floated by the end of the year. We have a list of Tier A investors, and we will pick currently we'll pick 4 or 5 international investors that will have a little bit over 4% as a pure equity, and the rest of it, a little bit over 10%, will be in a trustee. I mean, the overall will be 30% that will be held as a trustee, so we can guarantee the IPO by the end of the year.
Guarantee the IPO by the end of the year. Can we expect you to do any other block sales? You said that you received higher bids than the one that you received from Manikay. Manikay, will you do any more block placements of stock before the IPO?
The only, I would say, the whole deal is one deal, the 71.7%. Now we have a 51.8% that we need to decide which 4 or 5 investors we bring into the table. And they will have, as I mentioned, an equity investment, and also they will fund the trustee. This is the only thing that we still need to decide about what are the names of the institutions that will bring into that structure. This is the only thing that we're going to do prior to the IPO.
Where do you think most of the interest is going to come from for the remaining milestones that you need to jump through? Is it U.S. investors, European investors? I mean, you've met some potential investors as well. I mean, what's the feedback been?
Well, we've met and we've spoke with investors from, I can say, all of the continents in the world. And also Manikay have a very reputation with regards of their investors list. So I reckon that some of the names will be long-lasting investors that do businesses with Manikay, and they completely trust their judgment. And I guess that one name or 2 names will be some of the names that we have been discussing in the last couple of months.
Okay, Ittai, we need to tighten these answers up a little bit for the marketplace. You talk about strategic tie-ups, and we understand you're talking to London, to Hong Kong, to Australia, to Singapore. Where's the best strategic tie-up as you see it? If you go for the IPO at the end of this year, who is the best fit to really broaden the investor base into Israel? Is it London or is it an American exchange?
Well, that's a great question. We have come to a conclusion during this process that because Israel is a high-tech and innovation country with lots of promising companies, those companies do not want to be tied with one specific large exchange. And this is one of the reasons that we thought at the end it's not wise for us to sell the whole 72% to one large exchange. So actually we do want to have the ability to give our clients in Israel, the high-tech companies, the opportunity to choose with which market they want to dual.
So where do you prefer? Where do you prefer? The United States or London? Where's your preference?
And you have also Asia. I want my clients, the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange clients, to be happy, to bring them the best value proposition. That's what we are keen on doing now.